Hello. Good morning,
Yeah, hello, Mr. Olu.
ladies and gentlemen. My name is Olu. My name is Olu Adewusi, representing.
Hello, everyone. Okay, let's just hang on for about a minute or two so that others can join us. And please, if you are here and you can hear me, please drop an emoji. And you could also just drop your name and where you're joining us from, where you're listening from. So you could just type your name and where you're listening from.
So
So please, if you can
it's
hear me, drop an
10
emoji.
o'clock Lagos, Nigeria. It's 10 o'clock Lagos, Nigeria time. We're joining in from different locations across the globe. And I am the representative for Doowe Gas, the host of this webinar. We have some guests in-house with us, along with our host, my colleague, Miss Gift Ojonoka. And I'm going to take a brief moment to introduce our guest. We have three guests, namely Mr. Daishin Samta. He's the MD of Doowe Gas, India. Mr. Samta is an expert on LPG, recognized worldwide in the who is who of LPG business. Is a technical partner with Doowe Gas, and what we're hoping to do with him is to draw on his wealth of experience, technical experience, to guide us through this webinar and make sure that our audience are able to learn as much as possible about LPG and LPG business. He's extremely technical, very knowledgeable, and we're really happy and delighted to have him. Thank you for making time to be here with us, Mr. Samta. Our second guest is Mr. Taiwo Adepoju. Mr. Taiwo Adepoju is the founder and MD of Strategic Africa, located in Abuja, Nigeria. His company also partners with Doowe on strategizing. Is an expert with startup businesses and also business transition and transformation. So we're also welcoming Mr. Taiwo and hoping that he will be able to use his wealth of experience to guide us and our audience through all the opportunities and potentials in LPG business, especially for those in the audience that are thinking of starting up. I don't know of any better world-class expert with startup business. So you are welcome, Mr. Taiwo. Thank you very much for being here with us. The last but not the least of our guest is Mr. Confidence Odunoye. Odunoye is what you refer to as a tech guru. Is the MD of Beat Drone Business Nigeria Limited. Is a world renowned startup technology business startup expert. His resume is voluminous, and I really probably won't want to bore you all with all his accolades. But what I know is that he partners with Doowe and he's guided us on so many occasions in terms of leveraging technology with LPG and business in general. And that's what I'm hoping that he'll be able to do for us again today with our host and also this dialogue that we're having. Just so you know, this is going to be a first in a series of several dialogues and webinars we intend to organize for the benefit of our audience and also audience really worldwide, and mostly especially the ones in Lagos, Nigeria, where Doowe Gas is based. A little background on Doowe Gas. Doowe Gas is probably the premier full house, wholesale, one-stop shop for anything LPG and LPG business. We have been involved in this business for over a decade, and we have a reputation for being able to get people started at different levels of income. It's something that is probably not very well known to people, that LPG business is very broad and not really as extensively capital intensive as people think. It all depends on the level of capital you intend to bring in, and also level of involvement that you have in terms of time and investment. So I am going to be standing by. I'm readily available for any questions our audience may have on about Doowe Gas and our involvement in LPG, and how we can help our audience, guide them through starting LPG business and also sustaining it, especially post-COVID. As you all know, last year was declared the year of gas in Nigeria. So the whole effort of the government and all the way from ample um, sources of energy, especially in terms of cooking and also powering of cars and other equipment, that generators that are part of our daily life. So what we are doing on our part as a business and as a responsible business is to make sure that we sensitize people, in addition to helping people to get started in LPG business and guide them every step of the way. We're going to be companion to our customers and make sure that they succeed. Basically, when they succeed, we also do. And on the last note, LPG business in Nigeria is at the threshold. There's room for everybody and also room for growth and profit making. So I really encourage everyone to look in the direction of LPG business and partner with Doowe Gas in this regard. At this point, let me yield the floor to my colleague and co-host, Ms. Gift. Gift will guide us through and would lead the discussion with our host, with our guest and also the audience. And I'm also now going to step back and be part of the audience and also representative of Doowe Gas. Gift, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you very much, Mr. Olu. Thank you. Thank you so much for the introduction. Okay,
Thank you.
just
I'm
in
really
case you are.
delighted to have you. Thank you.
Thank you too, sir. Okay, so we are going to welcome our first speaker soon, Mr. Confident. But just in case you just joining us, we just had our introduction, and you could just drop an emoji or drop a comment if you can hear us clearly, just or you have an observation. Please just drop it in the comment box, and we would appreciate if you could write your name, where you're listening from, and also why our speakers are actually speaking, because today we are going to be discussing everything LPG, startup, sustenance, and experiences around the sector. So if while you're listening, one of our speakers says something that, something deep, you could just, if you're on Twitter or just drop whatever the person says, tag the person, and use the hashtag Doowe Webinar Series. The hashtag Doowe Webinar Series is going to be on the comments below. So we will be welcoming our first speaker, who is Mr. Confident, CEO of BitDrone. And Mr. Confident, I would like to add that he is actually someone who has won several awards and grants from different sectors: Diamond Bank, Aluminium Foundation, and co. So he is going to be taking us on a short conversation, a short discussion around sustainability and going green in our day. Over to you, Mr. Confident.
Thank you very much, Gift, for the introduction. It's a pleasure to also be amongst each and every one of you today. as she has likely said, my name is Confidence Odionye, and I am the president of Bidron. Today's discussion is one that the global community is actually interested in because a transition between reduction of greenhouse gas and improving of discussions within areas where we can be able to provide enough value to customers and also ensure that we are keeping the environment at a very, 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 very habitable point is the key focus of both the UN and the Sustainable Development Goals. Nigeria, we found out that in 2018 we had an annual metric ton usage of about 300,000, and with estimation within the next 5 to 10 years for it to industry is valued at over $10 billion in its matured stage. So what that means is that gases and cooking and several other activities, we're also having further transition. I'm sure that most of us must have heard about the government's plan to upscale vehicles from petrol, which is PMS, to gas as well. That way, it creates further market entry for most of the already existing LPG players within the industry. So we're going to talk about the history of how the industry have been going within the last 2 decades. Also, how the interaction between
Okay, I think Mr. Confidence is having some technical issues. But please, put just write in the comment box if you could hear him, if the volume was okay. Okay, yeah. He is back. Mr. Confidence, are you there? Okay. Mr. Confidence, are you there? Okay. While we wait for him to actually rejoin us, because he's having some technical issues, I'd like us to invite our next speaker, Mr. Taiwo Adepoju, currently known as, or popularly known as, the startup specialist. The startup specialist. So, Mr. Taiwo is currently popularly known as the specialist, and he is building Africa's startup ecosystem, which is actively working towards building and 1,000 ideas and business by 2030. Mr. Taiwo Adepoju is going to be, talking to us today about startups, and then, startup businesses, in his field and also in the LPG gas. Please, like I said earlier, just in case you did miss it, while any of our speakers are talking and, they say something very important or something that you could relate to, please, you could tweet you on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram, mention them and kindly use the hashtag Doowe Webinar Series. Okay, Doowe webinar series. Okay, so Mr. Taiwo Adepoju, we are ready for you now, sir.
Good morning, and good afternoon, irrespective of wherever you are logging in from. I must apologize for the technical issues I've been having. Apparently, I have a presentation, but I'm going to run through it and hoping that at some point the Doowe organizers can share, can share with the audience. It's a beautiful time to be alive. So it would be nice to know. I'm seeing. Okay, so confidence. How are you? I see a couple of people here, and thank you for logging in. So I believe all of the introduction has been done. Today I'm going to be bringing on the thought, the post-COVID-19 pandemic opportunities for LPG, and how to harness the value chain. Now, I know a lot of people, so there's usually a thought I would like to start out with, and it's this thought that in the middle of difficulty lies opportunity. So notwithstanding the pandemic and the issues that we're having to grapple with, even as a country or as a continent or even globally, we will soon realize that therein lies a huge opportunity. And for those that are wise, they are easily able to catch in on it. So I'm just hoping that you take advantage of this opportunity, and then we'll begin to move on as may be required. The key highlights of my discussion will be around the opportunities in the LPG space, particularly around the entirety of the value chain. So a few key highlights, which I highlighted, would be this: that Nigeria is one of the fastest growing LPG markets. Okay, there's no doubt about it, and there was over 20% average growth.
True.
Okay, in the last 10 years. Now, what has happened is that there was something that remarkably happened in 2020. We broke, the projections. All right, so over a million tons of LPG was sold, and this truly, gave also impetus to the fact that now Nigerians are getting ready, as it were, for this opportunity. Another thing is that with this consumption on the increase, it portends opportunity along the value chain, either for the various garments. And as we progress in this discussion, you'll probably be able to have a full understanding and appreciation of that. Now, the opportunities for LPG, post the COVID-19 pandemic, and even with SARS or the political upheavals that we're experiencing, is huge. In fact, I'm wondering, why is everybody not here? Interesting. So you may ask yourself, what's in it for me? So look, this LPG thing that people are talking about, what really is in it for me? So I came up with three key objectives. That if you are tuned in at this instance, there are three things that would likely happen, and one of it would definitely happen. One is that I'm going to be unveiling insights, all right, insights as to the LPG terrain, just so that you can take grab of the opportunities there. The other thing is that I'm also going to be giving a few instructions, okay, because if you want to fly, then you must be able to accede to instructions. And the third thing that will happen is that I'll keep your curiosity, because you would understand the interest, okay, the interest, the why, okay, as to the income and the impact. So let's move steadily now. So I have a bit of an outline, so I'm going to start off with a background. So do you know, LPG in Nigeria, it's such that our population currently, we have only about 12% of the Nigerian population, playing in that relying on alternative energy in terms of biomass, charcoal, wood, and all other options. Therein is the opportunity. And also, something is also happening. There's a current shift, okay, to say, can we increase the threshold? Can we increase the threshold of LPG and have clean energy consumption? So there's a lot of clamor for that. And what that means is that what we are familiar with along the lines of the traditional or the existing options which fall into the 70% bracket are soon going off. It's soon winning off, and it's about time. It's about that we start to take full advantage of what lies there. I also said that Nigeria, okay, lagging behind, particularly in Africa, where we seem to be lagging behind in Africa. And you know, sometimes I ask myself, why are we lagging behind? You know, someone says, okay, we're lagging behind. So how do we effectively take ownership? Well, I'll put it this way. I said, look, there's a ray of hope. There's a ray of hope somehow. And this ray of hope is such that this market is fast growing. The LPG market is fast growing. And as the market is fast growing, the consumption level, like I said earlier, has hit over a million tons, you know, LPG. And this it indicates about 6.5% rise. It also means that the steady growth, okay, when we talk about the steady growth, which is cumulating into over 1 million metric tons of LPG, this remarkable growth is leading to about 25,000 to about 2018 thereabouts. We had about 15,000 retailers. Now, what does that mean? There are over opportunities now extending. We've had an additional 10 to 15,000 additional retailers to those that we had. So it's nearly around 25,000 plus to about 30,000. The trading of LPG is expanding from 1.5 million metric tons to over 2.5 million metric tons. So households that were about 3.5 million being served, and about between 5 to 7 million being served. So there's a ray of hope. An opportunity is lurking in the corner. Albeit there are challenges. All right. So with these challenges, and it's important I frame these challenges. In these challenges are embedded the opportunities. And for those that will quickly understand it, that like I started off in the course of this discussion, I said that in difficulty lies what the opportunity. Okay, so one of the key challenges that we is the question of availability. Okay, so if you are grappling with anything, you begin to ask yourself, what then, or how can we make LPG available? The other element is the element around accessibility. How do we make LPG accessible? The third element is affordability. How do we make it affordable? And the fourth, which is very crucial, and I love what Doowe is doing right now, is the area around awareness. 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 Okay, guys. I think my network is.
Yes, Mr. Taiwo actually had network issues, but wow, I don't know if you have been enjoying this conversation, but I do like the way he actually did break down around your LPG company, and then he said availability, affordability, and awareness. So Nigeria is actually going towards this direction where we're moving from petrol and to gas, and like he rightly said that most times whenever there is actually crisis, that's when we have a whole lot of opportunities. When there is crisis, that means crisis. There are a whole lot of opportunities. So even in Nigeria right now, this LPG LPG business is not something that is currently, you know, popular in Nigeria. So what we are actually doing right now is availability awareness, and this awareness is actually, going to be so much time while we wait for him to get back in. We are going to invite Mr. Jason. Mr. Jason is the managing director of Doowe Gas in India, and Doowe Gas has actually been in existence for the past 30 years. So he has over 30 years experience in this industry, and he's going to give us, challenges and, the way that his industry have been able to, solve through everything during this pandemic. Mr. Jason, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Gift. And can you hear me properly? Can
Yes,
everybody hear me?
clearly.
Okay, okay. First of all, let me pray to God that I don't have any technical problems while delivering my message, and
Yeah, I also too. Yes.
my talk goes smoother than the other two, so that I can share with you my thoughts and go ahead with the seminar. So, first of all, let me thank James and Mr. Olu and Gift and Mr. Confidence and Mr. Taiwu for making me a part of the seminar. And I'm very happy to be a part of a international seminar. Uh, this will be the second time. The first time I spoke in South Africa in 2017, and this would be my second time, but that was a live interaction. This is going to be, I think, a webinar. So uh, I want to introduce myself, if you may permit me. And I
Sure, you can.
started, I entered the LPG business at the age of 18 in 1980. And then in 1986, I started my own company called Pune Gas. And since then, I have been doing business for last, what, 35 years, into domestic LPG, commercial LPG, industrial LPG, natural gas, industrial gases, and a lot of other projects for providing spare parts, installations, manifold, pressure reducing stations. Those who would be interested can go on to my website called www.punegas.com. And before I start, could you tell me how many participants are there, please? How many people are there as a participant today? Do you know that? Hello? Anybody online? Hello? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay. So people are following. Okay, fine. Uh, Before I start talking about the LPG business, I would advise each and every one to really watch a film after this webinar. The film is on YouTube and it is known as The Story of LPG. So, in the story of LPG, it is shown that where LPG comes from, where LPG is delivered, how it is packed, and how it is transported, delivered, and what are the applications of LPG where you can use LPG. So there are over 1,000 applications of LPG, and they have shown over 300 in that video. So it would be very uh, positive if people really go to the website and the YouTube website and view the story of LPG. Secondly, I've been advised to speak on the business post COVID. So I wouldn't know the business post COVID in Nigeria, of course, but in India, we stopped business on the 17th of March last year, that is 2020, and as a essential commodity business, we were permitted to restart the business on the 1st of June 2020. So we started coming to work from 1st of June 2020, and out of the 105 employees, there were about 35, 40 employees who used to come on and off, and business started slowly. Uh, in other parts of India too, business started from July, the month of July, and by September, uh, the business has increased so much that we had reached the pre-COVID levels. So our business was back to the pre-COVID levels where we were doing monthly sales of X amount, and by September, October, we had started reaching those levels. Again, in November, there was a small dip in business because of the festival season that happens in India. And after that, December, January, February, there is no looking back. We have crossed all the limits of last year, and we are back full swing. So we don't have an issue, and we don't think we will not reach our targets which we have made for last year. So uh, and in the midst of COVID, we also exported to countries like South Africa. We exported to Madagascar. We exported to Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Malawi. So I think COVID has not much affected Africa as much as it has affected Europe and USA. So uh, I think Nigeria also must be back to the pre-COVID levels. Sorry. And I think a lot of exports or imports can happen in Nigeria, because I believe that Nigeria is a very strong market in LPG, and it can cater to the surrounding countries like Ghana, Niger, all these surrounding nations where uh, Nigeria can be a lead role player. Uh, Again, I wouldn't know what are the percentage of the domestic and the commercial or the industrial business in Nigeria, but in India, our present commercial or industrial business is only 6% of the 100% of LPG business in India. 94% is domestic business, which caters to only homes. And the potential in India is so high that even if we go from 6% to 20%, there is going to be tremendous scope of business which can be handled. And the world over, it is about 40% of the business is domestic and 60% is commercial. So we have a long way to go, may it be India or may it be Africa. And I'm sure that there is a lot of potential in this business, which, if handled properly, can take you miles ahead. Uh, there are a lot of opportunities again uh, with regards to the business of LPG and applications of LPG. Like, if somebody can tell me what is the price of LPG and what is the price of diesel or liquid fuels like furnace oil in Nigeria. If you can compare that and tell me, I will be able to guide you something what we have done in India. Like in India, the price of LPG is say $1.5, and the price of the price of diesel is $1.5, and the price of LPG is about $1. So when it comes to using diesel, we advise the customer to convert from diesel to LPG because it gives a saving of about 37%, and that is a potential market for us which we have tried to capture in the post COVID arena, because pre COVID levels the price of diesel was equal to the price of LPG. But since the price of diesel and liquid fuels have gone up, there is a tremendous demand for conversion from liquid fuels to LPG, which also could be captured by Nigeria. If I can know the pricing, then the second avenue that you can capture is reticulated systems for house piping and metering for the homes. The third avenue that you can do is conversion from coal to LPG, because coal produces a lot of carbon and soot and emission, which can be avoided with the use of LPG. Uh, that is what I wanted to deliver. If you have any other points, if you want to ask me any questions, I'll be very happy.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Jason. It
Yes.
was, clearer and, a very interesting time with you. But I would like to ask you one question. Why LPG? You started this full age of 18.
Yeah.
So you
Why
started,
LPG?
you went
Yeah.
into this LPG. So could you please share with us, like, why LPG?
See, I was not an LPG man. I was into still being in college. I started working. I started educating myself, but then suddenly my father's company, which was into LPG, had a labor trouble, and many labor the people were removed from the jobs. So my father invited me to come and help him out and handle the business. And then later on, I realized that there is a tremendous scope of LPG to be expanded. And when I told them that let's expand the business, so they said no. I worked with him for 6 years, and then when they told me no, we do not want to expand our business because we have a lot of labor issues afterwards, and we do not want to expand the business. I started my own business and I wanted to grow. So I started with 2 people, and today I have 105 people with me.
Wow, that is a huge, tremendous success you had
Yeah,
there. Wow.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
like you rightly said, since COVID, that is since last
yeah.
year, about a year during this pandemic, your company you have not had a major challenge as
No.
a result of COVID, right?
Yes, yes,
And you've still been doing business, and then everything has been going well, and you've been exporting to, over the years you've exported to South Africa, Madagascar, and other countries,
yeah. We have
right?
exported to 19 countries. 19 countries.
Wow, that is very interesting to know. Thank you very
Yeah.
much, sir. And just one more question: out of the 19 countries, Nigeria has not been actively involved yet, right?
Yes, because Nigeria, uh, the people from Nigeria are still in the infant stage of LPG. Though the volumes are big, most of the LPG is going to uh, houses, homes, and that is a very small domestic market for us. We cater to the industrial and commercial segment, so we intend to cash in big on the industrial and commercial segment. Though we are also supplying
Okay.
domestic meters.
Mm-hmm. Wow, okay. Thank you very much for that. Okay, guys, so you can get your questions rolling. If you have any questions for Mr. Jason, please get them rolling so that we get to attend them as quick as possible. Just like Mr. Confident and Mr. Taiwo Adipoju, have said something about this. I remember Mr. Taiwo had mentioned how that in the midst of crisis, we have a whole lot of opportunities. It's very interesting to note that Puni Gas has actually done business with different countries, 19 countries, and Nigeria is currently not one of them, regardless of the population of Nigeria. That tells us that there is actually a very huge loop, and that loop can actually be very huge opportunities for people to go into this particular business because, like it or not, the way the entire world is going, we're all transitioning into, this whole gas business, and the usage of gas is actually going to go higher than ever in the next couple of years to come. So thank you so much for that, Mr. Jason. Mr. Taiwo Adipochu, are you here? Is Mr. Taiwo here? Okay. Okay. So once again, I know I've said this before. I'd like to apologize for had a very, very interesting time today, like with the network. So the network has actually affected a whole lot of, things today. We've not been having it really smooth. We've been going in and out. And I think this is also an area which someone might need to look into solving this particular problem of network. So once again, Mr. Jason, thank you very much for sharing this particular information with us. And before you leave, I'd like to add, one more question. So for people that would like to go into this particular business, is gas open for collaborations? Like, if some Nigerians were to go into this sector, now we know Nigeria has actually not actively been involved in export and import in this particular sector, in this business. So if someone, for example, now is in the audience and the person, can you hear me, sir? Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay, great. So I was saying, if somebody, okay, yeah, so okay. So if you're here, you're listening, and you're wondering how you could, get into this business, and if you would like to, go into international import and export, and because India is actually one of the largest countries that, do LPG businesses, and you would like to, collaborate with Mr. Jason and his company, so you could just reach out to us at Doowe. So contact us at Doowe, and then we'll give you that particular link. Mr. Confidence, I can see that you're here. We really did hope that we're able to hear more from you, even though the network was going in and out, and you were not able to, finish what you plan to say to us. So, is there anything that you would like to add to this conversation? Anything at all you'd like to add to our conversation today?
Well,
We'll really be honored to hear you.
so my closing remarks would be LPG is a lucrative industry, and Nigeria has one of the largest consumer markets for it in Africa. I mean, we have 200 million people, well over 100 million households
Sure.
that can use gas for cooking, right? So it's a huge market, and the COVID also presented a new frontier for people to actually switch from using kerosene to gas, and so many other technologies are coming up that are making people, households, to actually afford utilizing gases. And I'm very sure you see that gas are springing up everywhere in our neighborhoods.
So anyone who wants to go into the LPG market can do so now, be it from the retail segment or the distribution segment, or even setting up a plant that can actually definitely convert most of all these raw materials to LPGs. So the market is ripe. We have a huge market and it's still underserved. I mean, we have vastly between 12 to 15% market entry. So the time is right. Anyone who wants to invest should do so within the industry, and they'll definitely have a huge return on investment as people continuously switch from their traditional means of cooking to LPG. And like what Mr. Jackson said, industries are also springing up that will require a whole lot of LPG, and the market definitely will definitely grow in the next decade.
Okay, wow, thank you so very much for that, Mr. Confidence. So, an overview of what we have actually done today. We've listened to Mr. Confidence, we've listened to Mr. Taiwo and Mr. Jason, and basically, even though we had network issues and then we were going from middle to of that, the entire idea of this particular webinar was to, first of all, create awareness about what's going on in LPG companies and then the opportunities we have in Nigeria. So where we talked about startup, Mr. Taiwo actually gave us, something, and he said that starting up LPG would actually be LPG business would be something very wise for someone to do because there are a whole lot of opportunities. The population in Nigeria, and considering a lot of people in this sector, is a huge plus for this particular business. Talking about sustainability, I mean, from every single thing that Mr. Confidence has actually told us, there is actually in Nigerian term, there is actually when you get to see a particular business line that will be sustainable, looking into the future, we could see that LPG could actually highly be sustainable because this is the place that the entire world, we are heading towards gas. We're actually transiting from petroleum and we're all going into gas. So this is actually an area that sustainability is actually 100% certain. And Mr. Jason had shared experiences because he has been into this industry. I mean, since he was, how many years ago? Decades ago, and he's been into this industry, and we can see how that his company has grown enough to be able to internationally trade with 19 different countries. And with the population that Nigeria has, there is actually a very, very huge, huge gap that needs to be filled that would actually grow, not people personally, but would actually grow the entire nation. So one particular webinar is actually not enough for us to cover all of this, which is why it's going to be a series. So in subsequent times, we actually work on our side, ensure that we do not have, this kind of network issues that, we did have today. And we are going to have more of these programs running. And should you have any more questions, you want to know more about, okay, what is LPG? I'm not sure I even mentioned liquefied petroleum gas. That's what LPG is, because I see someone was actually asking a question about what LPG was. So LPG is liquefied petroleum gas. If you want to know more, we actually have, we just check www.doowe.com. So we have a knowledge center in that area. So you could just log in and go to knowledge centers. We are going to be uploading some videos and tutorials around LPG, how to get into the business if you're interested in going into the business, and basic things that you need to go, basic things you need to know. So it's actually going to be like a full course to be uploaded on our website. On our website, we have an area, like a particular section called the Knowledge Center. So there we are going to have a whole lot of resources for you to know. You need to know more about this business if you need to get started. So for today, we're going to close. We look forward to our next webinar series. So for our closing remarks, we would like to have the honor of Mr. Oluku. Could you please give some closing remarks?
Okay, thank you so very much, Gift. You've done a wonderful job. And thank you, our number of various hosts. We really appreciate you making time to enlighten us and our audience. In a closing remark, what I would like to do is let everybody know that not only is LPG a sustainable business in Nigeria, LPG is a business that is just beginning to be a business in Nigeria. And that means that as long as you're going to be eating food, boiling water, driving your car, and what have you, LPG is going to be the wave of the future and the only way to go. So look at LPG like a food business. It has to be sustained for survival, and that is LPG business. And just to give you a very compelling statistics, Ghana is about the size of one state, Rivers State in Nigeria, and Ghana uses 3 times more LPG than Nigeria. So if you do a quick arithmetic, you can see that the potentials and the room to really grow and do this business is enormous. And that is endless. And that has been the theme of our dialogue today, that this business is actually endless and the room and opportunity is there for everyone coming in from a large scale or, really just getting into big business also. So I think, like Gift said, this is the first in a series of several webinars we're going to be hosting post-COVID. And I urge all of you to come back again and bring back some of your friends, because we have a whole lot of things to tell you about how to get into the business and also how to sustain it. Again, like I said, as long as you wake up in the morning and go to bed at night having to eat or drink your tea or coffee or drive your car or even power your generator, LPG is the wave and is the way to go now. And on that note, I don't want to take too much of your morning and time away. Please go on and have you a very wonderful weekend. And thank you very much for being a part of this webinar. And I hope to see you all back up again here very soon. Thank you.
Thank you very much. To have a great weekend.